Hello everyone. So I thought of a video. I'm working on my trying to finish my Christmas blanket. I have this much left to do for this round, and then I will actually switch to a white color that will go all the way around it a couple of times. Anyway, way off base there. So I thought, let's look up some bookish questions. Just curious to see what I can find on that. So I just went to Google and I typed in bookish questions. That's literally what I did. And here are some questions. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. We have there's 9 subjects. So let's go ahead and get into it. So in the category about books, what is your favorite book of the year? Okay, let me go to my Goodreads. So what is my favorite book of 2024? Because we're in January of 2025. So let me go to my reading challenge and past challenges. Here we go. 2024. Can it not do... Oh, it's not going to show me. Okay. Goodreads did some kind of an update, and so there's like different things now. Okay. All right, let me scroll through. So I'm going to just scroll all the way to the bottom. Can I pick a favorite? I don't know if I'll be able to pick a favorite, but can I tell you some books that I absolutely enjoyed? Yes, that I know I can do. Okay. The House Witch by Delamock. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Loved that one. Really enjoyed The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I would say The House Witch was my favorite because it had me giggling the most, but they're different genres. The House Witch, I would say, is cozy fantasy, whereas The Last Word is thriller. Let's see. Dark romance. I'm really enjoying Willow Winter's writing. So I read at the start of the year His Hostage, which is the story of Vince and Elle. Nonfiction, absolutely loved Oddball and The Splendid and the Vile, written by Eric Larson. Oddball was by Sarah Anderson. Really enjoy all of Sarah Anderson's stuff. Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, sci-fi. Really enjoyed that one. And let's see. I'm just scrolling through. There's a couple of novellas. They were good, and I had a good time with them. Red Bride by Allie Hazelwood. That was my first time reading Allie Hazelwood. I think I gave that one a 4 stars. Loved that. Gluttony by Kara Roman. Loved that book. That's a dark Red Riding Hood retelling. Very much adult. It is sexually explicit, but loved that. Creepy Cat, volume number 4. Favorite manga series that I have found. Again, that's by Cotton Valent. Absolutely loved that one. So I've got quite a few that I absolutely loved. LGBT, I think it was young adult. Yes, it was young adult. Fake Dates and Mooncakes. I believe I gave that one a 4 star by Cher Lee. Loved that one. Let me scroll. I really enjoyed Mayfly by C.J. Lead. I actually got another book by that author. Another LGBT book. So the other one, the Fake Dates and Mooncakes, was male-male. This one is female-female, so a sapphic, and it is the no girlfriend rule. Really enjoyed that one. Let's see. I enjoyed The Night Swim by Megan Golden, another thriller. Gave that one a 4 star. Tailing a Tabby by Laura Cass. I gave that one a 4 or a 5 star. That is a cozy mystery. So, This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer. Really enjoyed that one. And let's see. The House Witch 2 by Delamock, another 5 star. And So they've got some good, like, they were either 3 or a 4-star, a lot of 3 or 4-star. And a lot of other books that I really enjoyed. That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. That was either a high 4-star or a 5-star. I can't remember right off my head, but I did get a second book from this author. Another LGBT young adult was Wish You Weren't Here. This one was a sapphic one by Erin Baldwin. Enjoyed that one. Taming Seraphine, Mafia, Dark. I really like the dark romances by Gigi Sticks. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. A Letter to Three Witches by Elizabeth Bass. Loved that one. That was funny. That's a comedic one. The House Witch 3 by Delamock. 5 stars. Loved that. The Rocky Road to Ruin by Mary Allen. Book number 1 in a cozy mystery series. Loved that one. It was either a high 4-star or a 5-star. The Sweetest Revenge by Lizzie Dent. That was funny. Enjoyed that one. Let's see. Trying to see what else kind of stands out. Teacher of the Year by M.A. Wardle. Another male. That one definitely adult. Does get sexually explicit. The Risk by S.T. Abbey. That's the Mindfuck series. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. 4 Charming Spells by Lynn Cahoon. 5 stars. Every book in that series has been a 5 stars for me. Absolutely loved it. Really liked Parasite by Mira Grant. And really liked the horror short story collection Out There Screaming by compiled by Jordan Peele. Loved that one. Really enjoyed that. Let's see. Now I'm getting towards the top. Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. I also read Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates, but I enjoyed Dead of Winter more because it was more realistic as far as it could actually happen type of a situation. And yeah, those are the ones that I thoroughly enjoyed. What was my favorite? Probably the Delamock and the Cozy Mystery series, especially A Kitchen Witch series, which was the 4 Charming Spells. I would say were my favorite of the year. So now that I've gone through what I enjoyed, these 2 would be my favorite of the year. So The House Witch by Delamock. Again, a cozy fantasy. I've got some things that I've highlighted that just stood out to me as far as quotes. And then 4 Charming Spells, which is a cozy mystery series that I'm absolutely loving, by Lynn Cahoon. I actually read the 5th book in this as my first book for January. Woo, I had a chill. Okay, underneath About Books, question number 2, what is your favorite genre to read? That depends on my mood. I have been leaning more towards romance, although I really absolutely love cozy mystery. I like fantasy. I love science fiction when I do read it. As far as fantasy, it can be something more lighter like Harry Potter, or more epic fantasy like the series by John Gwynne, or the author John Gwynne. Really like that. And I really like horror, mystery, thriller. I like them all. My least favorite is nonfiction, but I still enjoy a good nonfiction as long as I can find a nonfiction book that does not read like a textbook. That is the thing. Okay, number 3 under that is what's your favorite reading spot? Anywhere I can be physically comfortable. That's it. I read in the car. When I take my mom out to run errands, I just sit in the driver's seat and I just read. We have a spare room upstairs that has a comfortable recliner. The recliner I have in my office is comfortable when I can take breaks and sit in that chair. Is it comfortable to sit here and read? Not really, so I would not say it's my favorite spot. It can be comfortable to read in bed, but with my arthritis and stuff in my back, sometimes that can get uncomfortable, although it is comfortable a lot of the time, but it just depends on how my back is. So as far as what's my favorite reading spot, I don't really have a favorite. It just goes day by day and what my back can tolerate and stuff like that, and my legs and stuff, because I have issues everywhere. The last question underneath About Books is what's your favorite bookstore? I really enjoy going to Barnes & Noble. That is the closest one to me, but I have recently found an independent bookshop that's not that far from me. It takes like a 20-minute drive about, depending on traffic and how many red lights I get. But it's called Marissa's. I will try to link the website for Marissa's in the description box. I would like to try some more. I do know there's one I really want to go to. I know there's a couple in Utah that are independently owned, smaller businesses type things. One of them, if I remember right, is an LGBT owned bookstore. And then I think there's one that's all romance. I don't know if they're one and the same or separate. So there's a couple of them I want to try. I'm going to save up some money and eventually go and try to do like a little book shopping spree with them. But my goal is to read 50 physical books before I can even do that. So, or 30 or I don't remember the number. 30? Is it 30? Anyway, I have to figure that out. But I would like to try some more. So as of right now, outside of Barnes & Noble, which is a bigger chain, it will be, well, I really enjoy looking at books in Target, but I don't go to Target very often. That's a sensory overload for me. Not quite as big as Walmart, but Walmart is real bad. Marissa's, as of right now, is my favorite independent bookstore, and that's in Utah. Outside of Utah, the only one I know of and have ever been to is Maria's Bookshop. So if you're ever in Durango, Colorado, Maria's is on Main Street. I will link their website in the description box as well. I highly recommend checking that one out. There's a couple, but I've only been to them kind of once and like right before they were closing, so I didn't have a lot of time to really kind of meander and stuff. So in Durango, I do know there's a couple of independent bookstores that are good. I've always wanted to go to Maria's, probably mostly because it's easy access, and I don't want to go into a bookstore that I feel like one wrong move and a bunch of books are going to topple over, or I'm going to knock a stack down. I do know there's one along the river trail that was like that. I got very overwhelmed in there because it was just like, I felt like I couldn't move around very well. But Maria's, as of right now, in Durango would be my favorite, but here in Utah, it'd be Marissa's. So that's where it stands right now, but I do want to try more independent bookstores. Oh, and I will say this, with Googling Bookish Questions, it does say, have a little star right above it. It says, here are some bookish questions. It does have a little, one of those little starburst symbols, and it says AI overview. So will this change? Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Underneath the category of about reading habits, right? Yep, about reading habits. How do you make time for reading? Whenever I can squeeze it in. With work, I am lucky that when there is downtime, so when there's no applications to review, when there's no phone calls coming in from customers or third party or other associates, so like this very second, we're caught up on everything, I can read. So yeah, I just make time for reading. When I go out and about running errands, if I'm gonna let my mom go in and pick up a prescription from the store, I'll read while I'm in the car waiting for her. Waiting in the doctor's office, I will read. And I just try to read 20-30 minutes before bed, or crochet, because that's also relaxing to me, because counting is very relaxing for me. So yeah, it's trying to decide, am I more in the mood to read, or do I want to do an arts and crafts, because I love doing arts and crafts as well. So it's just deciding what I want to do, or do a puzzle. So yeah, that's how I make time for reading. I just fit it in when I can. Question number 2, what's your reading routine? Again, whenever I can fit it in. Number 3, do you mark up your books? Yes, I didn't used to, but the only way I mark it up is when I'm reading. For example, right now I am reading the Rehearsal Fling. I have one thing I have marked. So there's one tab, and it's just one thing I underlined, and it says, so they're talking about dealing with trials, and dealing with trials, especially when it comes to divorce. It says understanding how to focus emotions into that thing you're good at. So like taking those emotions of distress and turmoil and focusing into something that you're good at, like baseball or dance in this particular case. And then it says how helpful it could be while also being a crutch. So something that can be very helpful, like putting all your emotions into arts and crafts for me, could also turn into a crutch instead of actually dealing with my emotions and facing with them and learning how to handle it and stuff. Okay, do you prefer e-readers or physical books? Physical, absolutely. It's a sensory thing. I don't get that same thing like with the smells. Unless the book smells very mildewy or moldy, then it's a no. I would prefer the ebook version of that. But it's also tactile, sensorily wise, actually holding the book, feeling the pages, like flipping the pages, unless they're deckled edges. I hate deckled edges, but overall, I do prefer the physical book and the weight of the book. I do prefer physical books. All right, that's all about reading habits. The next category is about authors. So question number 1 in About Authors is, if you could meet one author in person, who would it be? R.L. Stine. And the reason I say R.L. Stine is he is the one that started me really wanting to read, rather than like my mom wanting to me wanting to read for my own personal pleasure and enjoyment, rather than wanting to read to make other people happy. So it would be R.L. Stine. I would love to have him sign. I don't care if it's just one Fear Street book, but I would love to get a personalized, autographed book by R.L. Stine. But I don't think that will ever happen, and which is a bummer, but I would love to actually meet R.L. Stine and just ask him, how the heck do you come up with these concepts? What started him in reading? I want to know all of that. That would be really cool. He would be, I think that he would be the one, because he got me interested in reading with his Fear Street books. Okay, next question is, what are your favorite books to read? Pretty much anything. If it sounds intriguing by the way someone describes it, or by picking it up and reading the synopsis, or by the way the cover looks, then there we go. Favorite books to read, it goes by mood. Sometimes my favorite books to read are romance. Sometimes I want the lighter stuff. Sometimes I want cozy mysteries. Sometimes I want the darker stuff, horror. More gore the better. Paranormal, a lot of possession and occult stuff. So that just goes by mood, so I don't really have an answer for that. Just depends on my mood. Okay, next up is, that's all the questions that are about authors. About book clubs. What do you think about book clubs? I think they're great. I have a book club online called Autism Reads. There is a Discord link. It is in the link of every one of these videos. It's in the description of every one of these videos, where we read a book by every author that is confirmed to be on the autism spectrum. There's not a lot of dialogue that goes into this, but there's not a lot of people. So I would love to have more people and have more dialogue. I struggle with conversing, and so that's something that I would like to work on, but I think book clubs are great. My mom is a part of a book club that she has been involved in since like mid to late 90s, and some of the people have come and gone, and these are all people that she used to work with at a school that she worked at, and she has made and developed some great friends. And so I think book clubs are a great source of friends, and yeah, I would like to have another one that's a book club, but I have a hard time putting myself out there to meet people to join said book clubs. So yeah, but I think book clubs are great. Another, I do not see how this relates to about book clubs, but underneath about book clubs, the other question is, which character did you relate to the most? That varies. Oh, what is that book? I can see the cover. It's hot pink. It's like a lot of hair. Queens of Geek. There's one of the characters. They are from Australia. They're visiting the United States. I'll insert an image here because I really don't want to go get it. It's just across the room. Anyway, Queens of Geek by Lauren Wilde. That's the first time I actually felt like I identified with a character. So that's the one that stands out to me the most. Now I have moments like I just did where I just completely blank, but the character in there that is autistic, and for her stimming, she does little micro movements like, twirling your hair, twiddling your thumbs, bouncing your leg, so for her, those are stimming to try to get some pressure, internal pressure out. And I really identified with her, and that's the first time I actually felt like I was seen in a book and thoroughly related to a character. So I would definitely say that. I can't think of her name right off, but Queens of Geek is the book that got that for me. Okay, the next category is about fictional characters. So the first question underneath that is, which fictional character do you feel the deepest connection with? Even though I just talked about Queens of Geek, I'm going to say none of them. Just because it's like, I know they're fictional characters. I don't even develop crushes on any of the male characters. Do I thoroughly enjoy them? Yes. And then when the book's done, I'm like, oh, I really like that character. But then I just move on to the next book. So I don't really... Well, I don't really do that anymore. I think, which fictional character do you feel the deepest connection with? Yeah, no. I was going to say, like, a lot of the characters in maybe the Harry Potter series, especially like Dobby and Dumbledore and Snape. But even that, just because I cried when they die, but there's characters I cry for when they die in books that I don't have that connection for. So that's not really a valid answer for that as far as I can come up with characters. So yeah, nah, can't think of anything. Okay, and the next question under that is, if you could date or be friends with a fictional character, who would it be? Nothing? No one? I mean, again, it comes to the, what book am I currently reading? So in this one, would I date this guy? I don't know. He seems like someone that would be fun to date. Dylan is his name. The character in here named Genevieve seems like she could be a fun friend. But then when I don't read this book, or when I finished it, I'll put the book down and then it'll be on to the next characters. And so they just kind of go out of my mind. So don't really have a solid answer for that question either. All right. Next category is about book recommendations. There are 2 questions under this one, like the other ones. Let's see. Would you recommend this book to someone? Well, I can't say that I would or not because it doesn't list a book. Would I recommend this one? Yeah, if you like spicy romance, if you like smut, by all means, you know. So it just depends on the person. If someone prefers a sweet romance, I'll try and think of a romance that is clean and more sweet. So like the author Becky Wade would be a good example for that. I would recommend that author if you like religious, clean fiction or romance fiction. So yeah. All right, the next question under about book recommendations is, what kind of reader would most enjoy this book? Again, what book is this thing talking about? If it's talking about what I'm currently reading, someone that loves romance and wants to see the sex, wants every detail, you know, that type of a situation. It's just going to depend. If I'm trying to think, if someone enjoyed maybe I don't know. It is just hard to tell, because sometimes if you read one series, like the Hunger Games series, someone will recommend another series or compare it to another series, and you may like it and you may not. It just depends on the writing style and certain plot points. So that one's a harder question. Let's just move on to the next category because that's the last question in that category. Okay, so underneath the category about book impact, there are 2 questions. How did the book make you feel? Makes me feel happy? I giggle? I don't know. It varies from book to book. About what I'm currently reading, I giggle. It makes me happy. Okay? How did this book relate to your own life? It doesn't. It doesn't. Usually they don't. Okay. And that's all the questions underneath that category. The last two categories only have one question each. So, about book covers. What's the most beautiful book cover you own? I have some beautiful book editions. Nothing comes to my mind right off because I have a lot of beautiful book editions. I can't choose. They're all beautiful. And they are breathtaking. I can't choose what the most beautiful one is. I really cannot. So let's just move on to the last category, which is about book quotes. And it says, it's not really a question, it's a statement. Share a book quote that has stayed with you. I can't. They don't stay with me. I underline what sticks out. So again, what I read in this one. Will it stay with me? By the time I finish the book, no, it won't. And then I'll just move on to the next one. I'll underline stuff. So I've just got to pull books off of the shelf. I look for the tabs to indicate where I've underlined these statements and phrases that have stood out to me. And then I say yeah. So, but has one absolutely stuck with me over my years of reading experience? No. And it's the same thing with the characters. Once the book is done, it's all gone and out of my head, and I'm just ready to move on to the next book. So let me know, do you have any answers to any of these questions? I'd be interested to know what you would say for some of these. Definitely let me know. Again, all I did is I just went to Google and I typed in the search bar, Bookish Questions. And that's it. So if you do this, will the questions change? Probably. Who knows? Again, it says it was AI generated, so, or an AI overview. Again, let me know your thoughts. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.